What's up, man? The best in the West is back, and we got a big driveway here, about just under 3 load driveway. It's my friend's house, the guy who owns my equipment yard where I keep my equipment, and it's got some major elevation problems. This house was actually brought here in 1951. That's Mike, the owner, right there in the driveway, and his dad owned it. And since then, they put in the sidewalks, the street. There's all kinds of elevation. All the water went backwards into his garage. One way it breaks another way. Then the driveway comes backwards at you. So there was all kinds of elevation problems here that we had to fix it. The water breaks 4 different ways. It's a sweet job. And we use regular concrete, no color, and we jointed it up where it looks really nice. It matches this house. See the left side of the house, they've trucked that house in here in 1951, he said. He went to Huntington Beach High School. He's an OG Huntington Beach guy. So we're breaking this up. These existing sidewalks that they poured later did not line up with the garage. The slab where that old school car is at breaks the other way. So there's all kinds of elevation problems here. I've got some cool videos going to put West Coast back on the map coming up. I had a job in Carlsbad with 15 floating steps, and I got to be honest, the guy got squirrely, so I'm not going to do that. But I got another one, floating steps with a whole backyard. I got another one with just the entryway floating steps, and then another one with 5 floating steps. So I got some really cool stuff. So I'm having Javier run this for me. You guys can see how efficiently we run this, how many guys we use, how quick we do it. We graded it out, set it up that day, and poured it the next day. I think we have Javier Milton Jr. and his his brother Jonathan with us setting up. Pretty good sized driveway. So we're going to break it all the way to the grass, right where that piece of wood is to the left. And he's going to put like a landscape drain in the grass, and it's all going to go there. And then on the other side where the RV is, there's a drain back in the corner. That's going to break that way. So this is easy pump job. I've known this guy since I was a kid that owns this house. My equipment's out his yard. I know he's a good friend of mine. This is a job he's been trying to do since probably 1972 when we finally got it done. He's really hard on getting it done, but it's done now. And now we're going to put an RV ramp to the left. The next video I'll be doing is a full backyard, full remodel. So we're just setting all this up. Not much material, like 100 bars of rebar, number 3, 20 footers, 60, 70 foot of 2x4. Pretty basic, pretty easy. But when you got to pour off the garage, you got to pour off that slab where the RV is, and then the sidewalk's higher, and then the street, it was something else. So we're just tying this up 20 on center. There's some existing pipes or pipes he put in for later, and we just covered them up. This is an easy pump job, just easy breezy. 6 finishers on it. We're going to cut, you guys will see, we'll cut a band around it. You'll see the concrete at its highest level. That's taken seriously. When I post stuff on here, it's straight marketing business for me. I'm not joking around, or we have fun and we mess around, and I'm never really serious, but I want a representation of myself. Like the customer I went and saw today said, you couldn't give a better representation of a company than you do of yourself, and your marketing's insane. So I don't have any paid marketing. This winter was one of the most beautiful. I hate winter. I'm seasonally depressed. And it was one of the most beautiful winters in California I've ever seen. It was 75, 78, 80, 72, 90. It was unbelievable. So I spent a lot of time on my bike and at the beach. This is my favorite day here. This is pump day. This is payday. I'm going to be flying with the Eagles, boys. And all the people out there that are just so intrigued and want to know about me and my business, and they call me to consult them. When should I start? Right now is the time to start a business, not tomorrow, right now. Because in a year from now, you will not regret it. You already have a year of experience. So the sooner you do it, the better. And you have to market right, and you have to get the right equipment, one thing at a time. When I had a big business, medium size for California, and I went under with the recession, and I had to get one piece at a time, and I sold all my good stuff. So the stuff I had was pretty much crap. So I had to use it just to get my tractor there, that piece of crap trailer I had. I had this pump. I had a nice pump, and I had the case was nice. I had an old school GB breaker, a General breaker it's called, that I had for 13 years that I beat the holy crap out of. So I had to get everything at a time. I needed to get another mini. I needed to get 2 new breakers, new trailer, new truck, because I kept the old Chevy truck I had that you guys saw earlier in my videos, and I had to do with what I had to do. I didn't go finance stuff because, to be honest with you, I might have went under. Because in the beginning of all my videos, everybody who knows me on here. I lived in a field. I was homeless. I lost everything: my family, my house, my wife, my business, and then I saw YouTube, and that's how I started it with my niece Christina. And it was really rough, because I never had a job. I never worked for anyone. I taught myself how to pump concrete. I was a business owner out of the gate. I just learned as I went. I bought a Bobcat dump truck, breaker, started a demo business. And then when the recession hit, I'm just going over a quick synopsis of my story of what I did. There's Johnson cleaning my screen for me. He says the concrete won't go through it. So when I was in that field, there's a silver lining to everything that God will put you through. You don't get depressed about it. You're honored that you were chosen to go through that. Like I had a hard time reading. I had a disability, learning disability when I was a kid. I probably read as an adult, I don't know, maybe fifth or sixth grade level. So that's why I never filled applications or got jobs or anything. So when I was in that field, I said I had a library card, so I would rent books. But when you're reading stories and novels, you're supposed to imagine what the characters would be like and like putting like a movie together in your head. And when you read that slow, it's impossible. So I'm like, dang. So I was going to learn how to read really good, but I was having such a hard time. And then I thought, because I went to church for years, and I heard them say that if you know who God is or knows His Word, that you're accountable. Well, I can't even read it, so how am I accountable? I know it, but I've never been able to read it. So my thought was to start reading the Bible, and I'll teach myself how to read from that. And boy, did I learn from that. I went cover to cover like 3 times, and then my vocabulary, my learning. I mean, I just launched everything I did. So I didn't go in a field and cry about it. I just made the best of what I had. And it was a blessing in disguise because I became like, you know, ultra reader. If I would have been able to read that good and vocabulary and knowledge like that when I was in school, I would have been the valedictorian or something. And I can't even read and no one's helping you because I have dyslexia and different stuff. So you can have different stuff and it can work for you. If you're down or you're out, there's a silver lining. There's something there you should be looking at. And I didn't realize it, but I figured that out as I went. And then that's how I taught myself how to read. So we're knocking this down. It's a 5.5 probably slump. We're just pumping it. It's going to be a load. I got 2 trucks back to back. I'm just going to bang them down. And then whatever the cleanup is, he can just shoot it. On hindsight, I might have should have just pumped it. He seemed like he was pissed off, but he said he wasn't. But I'm like, I'm done. I don't want to wash out again. And he can shoot it. But I didn't know that he would be sideways and block the whole street. So I probably just should have washed out and then pumped the cleanup. I'm just cruising. I got the pump turned down. I didn't turn it up and just like go as fast as I can like I usually do. We're just cruising. We got 6 guys here. And here's one of the breaks, the valleys that's going straight diagonal to that grass over there. And next job I do, I got some special guests coming. I got people coming from. I have a guy representing the Midwest. Will be here talking about. He's flying in, going to talk about how they pour the freeze thaw cycle. I have a guy in the South coming, and I'm representing the West, and we're going to talk about on camera. And these are aces. These guys are like my level, so we're going to talk about different. And my guy from the East Coast couldn't make it because I was going to have each one. But the Midwest gets the same freeze, so the people on the East Coast, I think, can relate to the guy I'm bringing from the Midwest. And 25 years he's been doing it, and he knows a lot about mix designs and stuff. So it's going to be really interesting. And they're going to be on the lives every day. They're going to be on the pour. And you guys can ask whatever questions you want. What do you guys think of Ladybug's editing? I love it. It's exactly how I want to edit it. I don't want a camera on my head. I don't want to be talking. I want to be able to look at it and narrate it as I go and what I'm doing and what we're doing. So the first stage of concrete, once you screen it and lay it down, you have to bull float it. And then you let it sit and let the bleed water come up. And then once the bleed water starts going down, you can put a steel trowel on it and seal it. And then the water's sealed, but it's already bled through to the bottom. It's a weird phenomenon concrete has. The water rises and then goes through slowly. and then dissipates. And then you could seal it up with a steel trowel. See all that? You can see the elevations in that. Excuse me. It's going to go right to that diagonal corner there. He's going to put a drain in there, and then he's going to tie it into that hole what he had exposed for that drain. This is still the first load, I think. Yeah, because Johnson brought the third load cleanup. And you can see they're putting a level on it. That's the little valley where which way the water's got to go. And you could see to the left there how low that corner goes, because all the water's got to shoot diagonal in there, straight off that sidewalk by the house down that way. And then to the right, all the water goes through the drain to the wall. You can see the way they struck it and the way it is at an angle. This is the most talented crew that you're going to see, not just on YouTube. You're going to see in any area you're at. That's why I do the stuff I do and the jobs we do. I like subtle. I think subtle's better. And what you got to do when you in your business is you just always got to be honest, and you got to work hard. And you win some, you lose some, but you can't get taken advantage of. But you got to do things diplomatic, because you're going to have problems, and not everyone's meant to be going to get along, on the job or whatever that you're dealing with. But now I do every job I do, everyone, because I'm crystal clear. But it takes years of doing it, and you'll get there. I'm going to blow that down. We did a live on this if you guys want to check it out, because I'm talking during the lives and telling what we're doing and stuff. If you want to see it actually live, you can hear no one's stressing out, nobody's talking. That's why I started doing it that way. I like the lives better than any of it, but these for customers and selling and stuff, I talk a little bit different on the lives, more candid. These are straight business. And the marketing I've done and the jobs and the level of work that we do is second to none. It's super obvious to anyone who watches it of any other concrete channels of what we're doing and what level we put down. These people have YouTube and they see a pump and they're choosing to use a motorized wheelbarrow. It's comical, I'll tell you that. But I'm so over it. I could just shit myself looking at that. I can't even watch it and listen to the same bull crap. We got my man Javier here bull floating it because of the elevations. If it's dead flat and stuff, they let some of the newer guys do it. But on something like this, he's brooming it, he's floating it. That's why he's there. And in California, we just still, you can't wash this on the property and stuff. This is just, we just wash it. That's a washout hook. We hook it just like the hose and then pump water back up in it till it's clean. About 3 of those hoppers, and each one of those hoppers is about 30 gallons. So 90 gallons of water. That's Dean. He brought the load. I haven't seen him in a while. I know his dad. You guys looking at my wig? It's looking sweet, huh? 2 thumbs up for Fonzie. I lost my clippers, and I'm not paying for a haircut. So when Ladybug finds them, we'll cut my hair. It's been 5 months since the last time I shaved it. See, there's the water there, and you'll see me turn it on, and you just speed the pump up as you're going, as it's pumping down. Once you hear the water going, it'll hit cycle. So I crank it out as I start hitting water. It just keeps a constant flow. Priming the pump out and washing the pump out is some of the trickier things when you start. Most of the screw-ups are self-inflicted. When I used to do it to myself, I'd be so like, oh my God, I can't believe I did that. And I'd plug up and because of what I did. That's my rig there. That's an F250. That's my pump. That's a 545, 45 yard an hour pump. Says it right there, best in the West. I did it. West Coast Concrete. I love that truck. That's an 05 with 90,000 miles on it. I just put a lift pump on it. It's got a bulletproof 6.0. Banks hair system. It's nice. I barely drive it. I drive a Prius normally as my everyday car to go look at jobs. But I'm going to buy a really nice Toyota Tacoma 4-door coming up because I got to transfer my electric bikes from Huntington to Brea a lot. And I have the hose in back of my truck, and it's such a nightmare putting the bikes up there. So the joint pattern didn't line up with the existing that he had on the RV side. So we just had to do what we got to do, and we put a band all the way around it. So here's the third load. It was a 5.5 yard cleanup, and he's blocking the street. So, He wasn't too happy. I should have pumped it, like I said, but you know, I just want to be washed out and done. But I got to not have that attitude. But this thing comes out primo. You guys will see these boys skating it. We have 6 guys, but 3 of them or 4 of them are full fledged, and 2 of them are in the making of our training system that we do. That's Mike King, the owner, right there in the street. He's a good friend of mine. So Milton, the guy on the right's full fledged, and then Javier. So we have like, three or 4 out of 6, and the rest are on top of it. They're troweling, screeding. They're not cutting joints or brooming. That'll probably be 4 years away for them doing that. 3 years away of pouring every day. So they're the ones cutting the joints and brooming it. To learn from Javier is the best thing you do. If you guys want consulting, just call me. If you want to start a pump business, a bobcat business, I mean, I love the freedom. And I haven't worked in 2 months. I've been on my bike and at the beach. I had a pretty bad crash on my bike. If you go on my Instagram, you can see it. I hit a curb and flew on my face. I got KO'd, but I was okay. I healed up pretty good. So we're shooting this in just however he brought it, as dry as he wants. I almost put a splash of retardant in the last load, but then me and Javier's like, nah, dude, we're so far ahead of this. When you pump it and you have the guys like this, you don't need to just dump it on the ground. It's like a joke. And then 5 guys come running up, grown men with rakes, with come-alongs or whatever they're called, and pulling it. It's the stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life. You don't even really need a shovel guy when I'm pumping it. It's just me, the 2 screeding guys, And these are all pre-marked, all these joints. So it's really easy. Everyone on YouTube does it now, but if you go back in their videos, they never did it. But they didn't learn it from me. I'm just telling you. But they'll never figure out the pump. They'd have to get a astronaut over there to figure it out. So West Coast is always going to reign supreme on YouTube for work, for everything. I can't even take people serious, When you can run this agenda I'm running wherever you're at. I mean, just look at this thing. Look at all the joints already laid down. Each guy's in a different area. Nobody talked and said, you go over there, you go over here. They know who's screeding by the pecking order. They know who's skating. Javier's floating it. He's cutting the joints, or Milton Jr.'s cutting the joints, one of the top guys. There goes Johnson. He's out. See you later, Johnson. Next week after Easter, I got a good one. So we're cutting these babies in. But if you want business advice, and I got a guy in the South and a guy in the Midwest that know those states inside and out in that area of the United States that are really good at marketing and everything. A guy who started a concrete business, my friend Trey in Kentucky, and he's going to be in the video, and he's going to talk about it. And he's running ball valve Olin's, and the guy is smashing it. Shout out Trey Hansen out there in Kentucky. Check him out on Instagram. I'll tell you the other guy's name, but I can't yet because it's going to be a surprise. So we cut it with a torpedo. You got to cut it deeper. Like you'll see other people I've seen on YouTube, and they're using like a 3/4 joiner, and they are doing such a disservice for their customer. If it's 4 inches, you got to cut it at least an inch, the original. Otherwise, you got to come back with a saw and dry cut it, up the middle, or with a skill saw or something to relieve it. So the first one's 1.5 inches with the cutter probably. See, we put foam in here because we're going to take that approach out. So they're using the torpedo to edge along the to separate it from the foam expansion foam we put in there. And here's the man of the hour, the best guy you're ever going to see, and 25 years of me pumping, the best I've seen. That's the GOAT, Javier. And he's a contractor. We're just good friends. I've known him for probably 18, 20 years, something like that. I used to use his brother, Guillermo, originally. I've used his brother-in-law, Arturo. He's a great guy. His brother, Guillermo, is really good. But Javier and I met each other in the dark, and here we are. I mean, just look at that work, dude. We do something depth-defying that nobody will do. We zoom up on it. We show it. We'll come back months later, years later, and show it. I've challenged people till I'm sick on here to do it. Nobody's going to do it. That's a fact. So we'll just keep West Coast on top. Numbers don't matter. People are delusional. Oh, I got this many subs. Who gives a crap? I'm at the beach, bro. I got weird hobbies. Talking to girls in bathing suits and hitting waves and riding my bike and taking a nap and hitting the coffee shop. My interests are not how many subscribers I have, to be honest with you. Look at that. That's an 80-foot joint up the middle. This is top of the line, boys. This is the best you're going to see. And West Coast puts it on there so everyone can see where the top of the shelf is for this kind of work. And you're looking at it. That's simple, no color. Just put bands to spice it up. Straight joints across, straight one up the middle. That's the way I wanted to do it. I don't like the bands across. I just like them around the perimeter. I mean, that's as clean as you're going to look. Ladybug, zoom in up on that for you boys. Look out, man. But I'll be at the beach until the week after, same week after Easter. And I'll be back on this lives. And I got like 4 in a row I got to knock out. Have a nice Easter, everybody. I'll see you guys right after. Have a good one.